What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video in the next episode of the MotoGP 25 career mode for part number 19 today at the Australian Grand Prix. It's getting to crunch time now with just 4 rounds remaining of the Moto3 World Championship. Starting here in Australia, then it's off to Malaysia to end the flyaway leg of the season. And then we head to Portimao and Valencia for the final 2 rounds back in Europe. But kicking things off in practice, as you can see, perfect conditions, although it is a little bit chilly with 13-degree air temperature on the coast of Phillip Island. And yeah, we've got a little bit of wind to contend with as well. But as we head out of the pit lane for the first time this weekend, let's see what we can do of this River Cold Snipers bike. And we need a good result this weekend just to step a little bit closer to the Moto3 World Championship. Crossing the line then to start practice. We need to make sure that we get through practice with no misdemeanors, and then we can attempt a good qualifying result. But we've gone out on the medium front, medium rear again, just kind of standard. I kind of always just go out on the medium for the first couple of laps just to get my eye in, and then we put the soft tyre on for a little bit of an attack at the end if we need to, which hopefully we won't need around here. But with the cold wind chill coming off that sea to our right hand side, it is hammering the front tyre a little bit in terms of tyre temperatures. It is very, very cold, so we need to be a little bit mindful of that around here with the sea breeze and the typical cooler temperatures that you get in Phillip Island around this time of year. But down into the final corner, turn 12, as we pick the throttle up out of the final corner under the little bridge and then drive to the line. It's 1:34.3 from Bertelle, and we set a 1:34.4. So pretty much on the money on our first flying lap of the session. And as we go for a second run, we get it all a little bit wrong into Miller hairpin, and we have to run off the track and into the long lap loop. So we go again at the end of the session. You can see on the right hand side of the screen, we haven't managed to better our time. We set a 34.500 and then a 35.0. So nowhere near the 34.1 that Joel Kelso has set, although we are only 0.3 of a second away from Joel Kelso and down in 19th. So the Moto3 field absolutely covered by nothing, a little blanket. You could cover these Moto3 riders. We're down to 20th though as we get towards the MG section of the track for the first time, but this lap looking a little bit better. We run a little bit deeper MG corner, but we are bang on the money to potentially go top of this Moto3 session. We need a big final corner though, because we haven't quite gained the time. Even though we went red in the third sector, we're still a tenth and a bit away from where we need to be when we come to the line at the end of this practice lap. So towards the finish line, let's see where we go. As we cross the line, we move up to P10. So in the top 14, but I don't think by any means we're safe, because as you can see, 33 thousandths to Bertelle. If he gains a little bit of time, then we will be pushed back down the order. And as you can see, halfway round the next lap, we've already been demoted outside that top 10 into P11. So we're going to have to really just push towards the end of this practice session. 8 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock. So there's still plenty of time to get a lap in, but we need to get one in sooner rather than later. And then we haven't got the little bit of undoubt and uncertainty casting over our heads towards the end of the session. We lose a little bit of time out of MG corner, but hopefully we'll pick up a little bit of time through this final turn 12. We pick up the throttle a little bit earlier, try and pick the bike up and drive towards the line. It's going to be another minuscule improvement, half a tenth, 33 thousandths, and we get away in towards that top 10 again, 34.2, and we're on the cusp of the top 10. And from there, we were unable to improve again, and we go into P12. But look at that, literally a tenth of a second improvement, and we would have been in P5. So very, very close here in Australia, and it bodes well for qualifying as we head into Q2 at Phillip Island. And it is again much cooler, 11 degrees this time, a much higher wind and cloudy conditions. Alvaro Carpe, David Almanza, Jacob Rolston and Cormac Buchanan join us in this session. And as we venture out towards Q2, if you take a look at the bottom right side of the screen, you will notice that we've got no tyres. Well, we've got tyres, we've got no grip. I'm not sure why, because we went out on brand new tyres, and it's given us tyres that are absolutely, completely dead. And as you can see, just nothing there as we went through the southern loop and off the track. And at first, I didn't actually clock as we nearly high-sided ourselves to the moon. I didn't clock that was the issue until a little bit later on that lap. So we put on brand new tyres again, and this time, ladies and gentlemen, pleased to report, we are cooking with gas. Brand new soft tyres, maximum grip. So let's see what we can do as we head through Doon Corner for the first time. We've got the two leopards ahead of us. Is it Fernandez? It is Fernandez, who is trailing David Almanza. So we're chasing down our rival in the Moto3 World Championship, and the man who we've picked up a little bit of beef with and a little bit of hatred as we touched the green on the exit of Siberia by a minuscule little margin. And although we've still got time to get a couple of laps under our belt here in qualifying, it adds a little bit of just that doubt, a little bit of anxiety over us, because we need to make every lap count now. We can't afford another little mistake or to drop a little bit of time. We already know how close it is in Moto3 round here, and every single tenth, every single thousandth matters. So through these couple of corners, you can see that we've not really been able to catch or make any inroads on Fernandez, who dives into the pits at the end of this lap. He is currently provisional pole, so there's just another little incentive and another motive for us to get a good lap in. Our teammate currently sat in 6th as well, I can see on the leaderboard. As we cross the line, we only go to P16, and it's not ideal in the slightest. However, Piqueras 11th, Rueda 14th at this moment in time. So we've got work to do here in Phillip Island. So we just need to just keep that in mind and try to just execute the perfect lap. Half a second away from Fernandez's top time of a 33.7. A strong time from the Leopard rider as we drop into the MG corner. A little bit wide again. We had to take a bit of inside curb and cut that inside of the MG hairpin, and that has unfortunately cost us a little bit of time and put us over the other side of the Delta, and we don't think we're going to improve. We go a little bit wider to try and slingshot our way onto the front straight, but that's actually cost us more time, and unfortunately we aren't going to improve on this lap. So we need to go again for what would be our final lap of the session. However, I don't know if we've got the tyres, and unfortunately we don't. We are no higher than what was 16th on the grid for the Australian Grand Prix. It's pole position though for Adrian Fernandez. His teammate David Almanza 2nd, and Dennis Foggia on the asphalt bike rounds out the front row. It's the two teammates of Quiles and Bertelle 4th and 5th, with our teammate in P6. Alvaro Carpe 7th ahead of Tayo Furusato and Luca Lunetta, with David Munoz rounding out the top 10, heading row 4 with Angel Piqueras and Jacob Ralston. Then it's Joel Kelso and Rueda, the two Red Bull KTM IO bikes, Cormac Buchanan's 15th. We start 16th ahead of Ricky Rossi and Guido Pini on the second Dynavolt Intact GP KTM. We've got work to do, so let's see what we can do.
Good morning from Gavin Emmett here to all you MotoGP fans listening in. We are live from the Phillip Island circuit for the Australian round of MotoGP. In a few moments, we'll move to the main straight to watch the start of the Moto3 race.
It's race time in Australia, and we know what we need to do. We need a good start, we need to collect some points and step closer to the Moto3 World Championship.
The riders have completed their warm-up lap and lined up on the starting grid. In a matter of seconds, the lights will go out and the Phillip Island Grand Prix will begin.
Adrian Fernandez, Almanza and Foggia. That's the front row for the Australian Grand Prix as we rev towards the start of this 7-lap battle here in Australia. Lights are on and we are underway, and it's not a good start from ourselves. We've dropped positions already from Pini and Rossi, and we're down to P18 already as we head towards turn number 1 for the first time. It's not the ideal start for us in Australia. We are going to have no pressure though from anybody behind. We had a nice clear run into turn 1 as we now switch to the outside of the southern loop. Pini then looking to go round the outside of, I think that's Moodley as well. We get sat up and overtaken crucially by Valentin Peroni, so we've gone backwards again into P19. We get a good run though on the exit of the corner. I think we've passed Pini, we've passed Ralston, and we've passed Joel Kelso, the home hero, as we head in towards the hairpin. Rueda all over the grass on the inside. Everyone's bunching up in the middle. We get round the outside of Rueda, and we're up into P12. And there's our man Piqueras, another rival. His teammate Carpe behind him. But Piqueras filling that final spot in the top 10 at the minute. We try and get the drive out of the Siberia corner and try to get ahead of Carpe. We're going to line up a move at Hayshek, potentially. No way through there as Carpe carries the speed through that right-hander. But we have a look up the inside at Lukey Heights. That would be brave to try and throw a Moto3 machine up the inside there. But we might have an opportunity to get past on the brakes into MG Hairpin. We're going to look the long way round Alvaro Carpe. We try and get the switch back to try and line up a bit of a move and a bit of a run to see if we can get him into turn 12, which we might have still done. We're pulled to the inside of Carpe, but no way through. And for now, we have to settle for P12. So up a couple of places, up 4 places off the start of the race towards the end of the lap. And we have still got work to do. Even though we're ahead of Rueda, Fernandez leads the race. We pull to the left-hand side of Alvaro Carpe, and we do move up into P11. And the next man on our list is the championship rival, Angel Piqueras, who at this moment in time holds that final space in the top 10. So it'd be nice for us to get into the top 10 at the end of lap 2. He's running a little bit wide at the southern loop, coming back for a late apex. Thankfully, Carpe not close enough to launch and attack, because that would have ended in contact as we were coming back to the late apex of the southern loop corner. Now on the brakes for the second time into the Miller's Hairpin. We saw it got a little bit lively into here on the first lap, and it's a bit lively again with our teammate there pushing out for Osato at the Miller Hairpin, and he's gained a position. So I think he's in about 6th place, I think that is 5th or 6th place for our teammate Nicola Carraro. So he's having a good run out here so far in Australia, and long may that last as we head through the hay shed. And now moving on to lap number 3. Still no real closer to Piqueras, but we're going to go late on the brakes into the hairpin around the outside of Piqueras, who's nowhere to be seen, and we get the move done on our championship rival Angel Piqueras, relegated to 11th with a big move from ourselves, and we push the MSI MT helmet spike outside of the top 10 and back into the clutches of his teammate, who I don't think will be all that bothered about trying to launch an attack on his... Oh, we got a faller. It's our teammate. It's our teammate. Just as I was saying, I don't think Carpe will be too interested in launching an attack on Piqueras. And as I look on the left-hand side of the screen, Carpe has passed Piqueras, crucially, for 10th. Our teammates crashed out of the race at the hay shed. So, unfortunately, for the River Cold Snipers team, only us remain in the Australian Grand Prix as we look to try and get ahead of Luca Lanetta on the Aspar bike. We go the long way around on the entry to turn 12, try and get the power down. We get the run, but we have to be a little bit patient and wait, otherwise we would have gone the long way round him and maybe pushed off the track or up to the top of the curb. But side by side with the Italian down towards turn number 1, we get later on the brakes, we breeze past him over the nose, and we are into P8. He tries to come back out as though as we're a bit slower in the middle of Doohan's corner, but no way through, and it is 8th position for us. Now we've got Spaniard David Munoz on that Dynavolt intact bike ahead of us as we have a bit of a slide from the rear tyre, already protesting on lap 4 of the 7-lap Australian Grand Prix, and that's not good. Because even though it's getting darker and darker, the threat of rain isn't quite there yet, I don't think. I've got one eye in the sky to see what's going to happen as we have a mistake there and run wide at Lukey Heights. And again, the back end protesting of our Moto3 bike. We are running out of tyre on the left-hand side. However, I've got one eye in the sky right now because the rain is surely coming. It's getting darker and darker, and there is a threat of rain for this 7-lap Moto3 Grand Prix here in Phillip Island as we now look to try and get back ahead of Luca Lanetta, who has stolen that position from us. And as we come out of the final corner, we're going to look to get into the slipstream. There's spots of rain. The rain is here, and it's now or never to try and get ahead of Luca Lanetta. We crossed the line side by side with him. We were 50 thousandths away from Luca Lanetta, and if this checkered flag goes out and it goes back a lap, we will only be P9 instead of P8, which takes a couple of points away from us as Adrian Fernandez continues to lead the race in Australia. Now through the Southern Loop for the 6th time, and now as we skip on to lap number 6, still no sign of a red flag. The tyres are slowly dropping away in terms of temperature. The rear tyre is absolutely protesting on the left hand side, and now we've got a slippery surface to contend with as well as we come out of the final corner to start the final lap of the race. The rain is absolutely hammering it down now, and surely we will have a red flag on this final lap. If it finishes like this, we lead the championship by 8 points.
With these conditions, the officials rightly decided to stop the race.
And there we go. The red flag is thrown at the end of lap 6, the penultimate lap of the race. And it means that we do take 8th position. And it's only an 8-point gap as we head into the Malaysian Grand Prix. After that man there, Adrian Fernandez takes victory of the Australian Grand Prix. Our teammate unfortunately crashing out of the race from a strong points finish. So that unfortunately hampers us in the team's championship. Joel Kelso, he's unfortunate to miss out on any strong points, just the 1 point for him, and he loses a space inside the top 10 after what was such a strong start for Joel Kelso in this career save. 8 points to gap as Fernandez moves up to P2. Piqueras in third, 23 points back, and Jose Antonio Rueda still there in fourth, 62 behind, but I don't think Rueda will be challenging for the top places towards the end of the series. 2 points separate Leopard and MSI in the team's championship, so that's going to be a tasty one that will go right down to the wire. But there we go, the Australian Grand Prix done and dusted, and it's another decent points haul. We lose a couple of places and points to Adrian Fernandez, but 8 points sets up a very, very tasty Malaysian Grand Prix, which will be coming your way very, very soon. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, check out any of the previous episodes if you want, and I look forward to Malaysia, where we will try again to take another step towards the Moto3 World Championship. So until then, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you with the Malaysian Grand Prix very soon.